Hello, I'm Steve Krenz for Gibson's Learn and Master Guitar, and welcome to this month's video tip. Today we're going to look at harmonics. Harmonics are these little bell-like sounds, like I played on that last arpeggio. And I know the first time that I heard them, I was just fascinated how this peculiar sound could be made on a guitar. It was just such a completely different sound than from a note that is plucked openly or had maybe fretted. It just sounds so different. Well, how do we do that? So what is a harmonic? Well, let's learn a little bit about that. In order to explain it, we need to go back to 7th grade physical science class when they covered properties of a string. All right, so think of it. This is your guitar. What is actually vibrating is the vibrating part of the string is happening between this bridge and between this part of the nut. So this whole middle section is vibrating. Now I can divide that string up into halves and thirds and quarters. If I divide it into half, the exact midway point of that, I get what's called in science a node. What's called in music, it is the same thing. It's called a harmonic. So right exactly at the midway point of this string, I get a harmonic, this little bell-like tone. Now, it doesn't happen at the 11th fret. It doesn't happen there. It only happens at the 12th, which is exactly the midway point of the string. So accuracy matters. It doesn't happen close to it. It happens right on it. Now, what if I split the string into thirds instead of halves? Well, the third point, if I did it in thirds, it would be about right here. And sure enough, there at the 7th fret, I get another one. Now, again, not at the 6th or the 8th, at the 7th. Well, if I went one more level and did it at the quarters, if I split the string into quarters, the next one would occur at the 5th fret. I'm able to get one of them there. Now, let's go back to thirds for a second. Well, if there's one here, then Steve, shouldn't there be another one way up here? Well, yep, there is another one. Let me see if I can find it. Now, that one is just as valid as this one. It's just a little bit harder to get to, so we don't generally use that one. Same thing with the quarters. The quarter one up here would be way up here over the sound hole. Well, let's talk about how to play them. First of all, let's go back to the easiest one, which is at the 12th fret. Now, instead of fretting the note, where you're actually pushing the string down onto the fretboard in between the two frets, that's not what you do with a harmonic. I take my finger and I just put it directly above that 12th fret, and I just set it on that string and pluck. As soon as I pluck, I release it. So I'm not pushing it down. I'm just literally setting my finger on top of it and then taking it off as soon as I play it. So go ahead and try that. Remember, you have to be right on the fret, not behind it. Doesn't work there. Right on the fret. It takes a little bit of practice to get the feel of it. So try it at the 12th fret. That's the strongest one, is at the 12th fret. The next strongest one happens at the 7th fret. Now I'm playing them here with my third finger, but you can play them with any finger, will work just as well. Remember, don't press the string down, just lightly touch it, and then raise it up after the note has been plucked. I can do it at the 5th. This is the weakest one. Now, there are other ones as well as you go up the neck, but those are a little bit harder to use, and we don't really play those in a real musical situation. So the three that you're mainly going to use are the 12th fret, 7th fret, and the 5th fret. Well, conveniently, a couple of them make a triad. Here at the 12th fret on the 4th, the 3rd, and the 2nd string, I have a G triad. A D, a G, and a B. Well, that comes in real handy if I'm playing something that's maybe in a G tonality. So if I'm playing a G chord, and I come up and I plug just those three strings, and I get that harmonic there of a G, and it sounds great. There's another one, if I go up to the 7th fret and hit the 4th and the 3rd and the 2nd string, I end up with a D triad. Well, that's great too if I'm playing something in D. And I can catch that one. If I do the one at the 5th fret, I'm back to a G triad, so I can combine all of those. 12th fret, 7th fret. There, I fretted the G note and then did the harmonics with my pinky. Well, if I do these top 3 strings back at the 12th fret, it kind of forms an E minor triad. So I can play a little and do a harmonic there. So some of these can turn out to be quite musically helpful as you're playing them. Well, are those the only places that they can be? Well, no, they can move around, and let me show you how that works. When I change the distance of the string, let's say I'm using a capo, and I'm going to put my capo here at the 2nd fret. All right, well now think about it. My string length, as far as what is vibrating, is now this long. It's not this long. It's 2 frets higher. So my harmonic is not here at the 12th anymore. You notice it doesn't work there. It would be 2 frets higher at the 14th fret. So when you're using a capo, however high your capo is, all of your harmonics are adjusted over that amount. Well, now you can also do it by doing what's called false harmonics. And how are those working is we're going to play these a different way. The first way I showed you was playing them with 2 hands. I barely touch the string here and I strum with my pick. Now I'm going to do it all with 1 hand. So just on the 12th fret, what I'm going to do is I'm going to touch the string with my first finger and I'm going to pluck with my thumb. And I'm going to go right on that 12th fret. So I touch right at the 12th fret with my index finger and pluck with my thumb. It's very tricky. Let me see if I can get here where you can see what I'm doing. There's where I'm touching with my first finger, and then notice I'm plucking back here with my thumb. And just play right there on the 12th fret. Once you can do that, well, this is very helpful. If I had maybe an E chord, it happens an octave above every place that the string is sounding. So this is an open string, so the low one would be right there at the 12th fret. But now look, the next note I have here is a B, which is 2 frets up, so the harmonic will be 2 frets up here. The next string, it's 2 frets up. Then this one is a first finger, so then my harmonic would be at the 13th fret, 1 fret up from normal. Then the last 2 are open. So I can outline an entire chord by just paying attention to what note I'm hitting as I'm going through these different chords. Now, and that works for any chord. If I'm doing a C minor chord, I can outline the chord here. And those are called false harmonics. All right, let me give you 2 harmonic examples for you to work on. First one of them is we illustrated a little bit earlier. I'm in C, G, played G chord, and I go hit the 12th fret, 7th fret, then 5th fret. But I'm going to hit the 2 outside ones, the 4th string and the 2nd string, and then the 3rd string. Same thing at the 7th fret. Same thing at the 5th fret. So if I put all that together, that's example number 1 in G. At the end of a fun tune in G, throw that on for a little splash at the end. Now, you can also do this. Let's think of an E minor example. So if I'm in the key of E minor, I can end my tune and hit an E minor arpeggio and have my harmonic there. If I wanted to really get fancy, I could go up to the 5th and the 7th and the 5th. And there you go. So those 2 examples are written out in the music that goes along with this tip. Well, have fun working with harmonics. You know, it takes a little bit of practice to get the feel of them. but give it a little bit of time and you'll be able to add them on all kinds of songs. So before we go, here's a few quick last-minute announcements. Keep up the great work. Remember, practice a little bit. Be an investor into your talent. Be the architect of your skill. Little bits of consistent, focused practice time is much better than like big chunks, maybe one time a week. Consistent, focused practice is what's going to get the job done. You guys have a great month. Enjoy what you're doing, and I'll see you next time.